one Cameroon, two people, that we have to stop or to end this war of shame, that we have gone past the peak of fighting, that it is time for reconciliation, time for reflection, time for negotiation, and time for peace. I'm just going to summarize all what Capo Daniel mentioned or talk about on my Medium Prime TV. That was yesterday, Monday, 6th May 2024. It was very interesting, a topic or discussion, and then he struggled by all possible means to explain some certain issue there, and I wanted to be posting it one after another, but I decided to summarize everything because there are a lot of things that I have talked about it here on TFA Talking Point. I have talked about it on my Medium Prime TV. I have talked about it on Equinox TV. But we ask Cameroonians, we know our problem is who is that person talking. If the person is not an influencer or somebody is a politician or somebody popular, maybe within, nobody will take. But I'm going to explain my own point of view here concerning all this issue and what I personally have done. All the points Capo Daniel mentioned, I have talked about nearly all of them. All of them on several TV stations on my platform, TFA Talking Point. So you are welcome. It's your first time joining us. Just do us a favor by subscribing to our channel, sharing this video, because we are all for lasting solution to the problem plaguing our home country, Cameroon. Capo Daniel was invited after he surrendered and abandoned the Ambazonians and decided to start preaching peace and many other. And people are criticizing. But I came out to congratulate him because he is one of those who, after maybe involving in something, usually turn back and look and ask questions where he is going to, what are the things he has achieved in this place, doing these particular things. And that is exactly what he did, and discovered that the strategy they took as Ambazonia in southern Cameroon is not helping, but adding to the suffering of the people of southern Cameroon. I strongly stand. People usually fight, kill others, and died just to be liberated, yes. But we have learned a lesson, serious lesson from the First World War. We learned lesson when Africans were fighting for independence. A lot of people were brutally killed. That has gone. We are in the 21st century, where things are operating in a very different way. People do not care about human beings again. Killing has been some kind of usual things that if you want to kill in order to achieve something, nobody will even listen to you. So I'm just going to talk about some certain things that he was talking about. So one of it is a chance to reflect and to negotiate and a time of peace. I believe it is the time. Yes, I've been preaching peace. So anytime is good for peace to reign. Anytime. He talked about the origin of the Ambazonian fighters, not the origin of the Anglophone crisis. Because the Anglophone crisis, as I explained on Equinox TV and on my on TFA Talking Point, I explained the difference between the Anglophone crisis and the Ambazonia crisis. The origin of the Ambazonia fighter. The Ambazonia fighter came in 2017 to defend the people of southern Cameroon, who were brutally beaten and tortured by the police and even killed by the police. They came as self-defense. That is the origin of the Ambazonia fighters. And now the question is, this was the origin. It was all about self-defense. We have defended ourselves. We have proven to the government that we are not people to be played with. They have understood it clearly. It is just shame that is holding the government of President Paul Biya not to surrender, to accept defeat. But should we keep on killing our own self? No, we should not. So if we understood the origin and the purpose of the Ambazonia, then we have to stop the killing. That is my first thing that I took from there. He made mention of the Grand National Dialogue that took place in 2019. That Grand National Dialogue, I cancelled it in many of my interviews on Equinox TV. I cancelled the Grand National Dialogue. On my platform, I denied the Grand National Dialogue because it was not a national dialogue to the problem in southern Cameroon. It was a national dialogue to all the terrible things President Paul Biya has done against the people of Cameroon. It was a national dialogue for the people of Cameroon, not for. They talk about the special statute. I have not seen anything that the implementation of the special statute, because I was waiting to see its implementation and see how better southern Cameroonians will be treated. Then I will know that something came up from the Grand National Dialogue. So that was not a dialogue. He talked about that different Ambazonia groups are full of selfish motive, and that I have presented videos on, that it was out of selfish motive, selfish desire, self-interest that forced them to divide. If Ambazonia was one organization, it could have moved forward than ever, than the way they are today. But if there are a group of people full with selfish interest, that any small thing disturbs somebody, will just separate and form his own government. Meaning, if they succeed to have a country called Ambazonia, that country will be divided in more than 100 pieces. Because any small problem, one person will just separate and go and form his or her own group. That they asked the Ambazonia fighter to hold their weapon just for self-defense. That is what Capo Daniel was explaining, that concerning this issue of where would the Ambazonia fighters go to. You cannot ask them to hold their weapon just for self-defense. It would be a crime if they are found with any weapon. I presented a video telling all Ambazonia fighters that it is time for them to call for a ceasefire, and that if that is not coming, they should run for their own lives and the lives of their family, the lives of the people of Southern Cameroon. And what I told the Ambazonia leaders to do was to gather money. We struggled right to all the human rights organizations all over the United Nations, Human Rights Watch, Transparent International, Amnesty International, Red Cross, the right to then and third, and then they organize some kind of things where all Ambazonia fighters will be transferred or taken out of Cameroon to any refugee camp, either in Africa or in Europe. That is the safe place until when that problem will be solved and amnesty granted to all those who were involved. Then they should come. They will come back. That was a solution I gave. Search my video and you listen to the full videos. And then he said, one Cameroon, two people. I've talked about this issue. Cameroon, there is no way you can join people with different culture, people with different educational system, people with different judicial system. It is very difficult. When I look at the way the government struggle to harmonize the two, we will have problems. We will have problems. There is no way you can join the English system of education and the French system of education. If you want to join them together, then you will create another kind of system of education that does not exist anywhere in the world, which is very difficult. So what is the problem here? If they allowed the Anglophones to be operating, to have their own ministry of education, ministry of justice, and other things that are permitted personally for an Anglo-Saxon system, it will be better. I wrote it in my book, a positive mentality for the Cameroon we want. So if you come across it, you read through it. Then they talk about international partners to help the peaceful negotiation. I have also talked about it, that they have to collaborate with this human rights organization, not governmental organization, that are helping political groups to negotiate with their government. They should meet and talk with them. That is what I'm calling on all Ambazonia leaders to surrender at this point, to stop the issue of fighting, meet all these people, table the problem. There are some that will even go right to the United Nations to struggle and take that case so that they can look at the root causes of the problem that we are facing in Southern Cameroon, which started in 1960 when French Cameroon got independent without a British Cameroon. They will go to that point and it will help us a lot. All Cameroonians of good faith to join together. Capo Daniel was calling on all Cameroonians, trustworthy Cameroonians, Cameroonians who are longing for peace, to come and join him so that they will be together. This is not the first time. In 2018, even before Let Kabina Tume came up with All Anglophone General Conference, I was the first person on Equinox TV. That was on May 16, 2018, to talk about it. Before even coming on Equinox TV to talk about it, I gave a copy of a neutral body to be created. I get a copy of that letter that I was distributing to Let Cardinal to me. I dropped a copy in his absence to the secretary in his office. I dropped a copy to the Cameroon Baptist Convention. I dropped a copy to, I believe, Presbyterian, and many. I dropped a copy to John Chi and many other people, trustworthy Cameroonians, to come together and form a neutral body in order to stop the killing. I explained detailedly on Equinox TV. That was on May 16, 2018. I was being interviewed by Mimi Milford. So it is not a new issue. So I'm still on that particular point for all trustworthy Cameroonians to come together and and sit together to solve this particular problem. Support a neutral body that is not out for killing, but for peace. That Paul Biya should think of his legacy. I presented a video about that also. That the only thing we are pleading, Paul Biya has done, there is nobody that will go with nothing. Then I say Paul Biya is somebody that started his journey as a president with a good vision. But along the line, something happened. Correct that problem now and leave a legacy before going. And that legacy you can leave is to end the killing in southern Cameroon. Then you go. There is no problem. You will go in peace. And Cameroonians will pray for you to be in peace. They can never have a complete military victory. Capo Daniel also talked about it, that there can never be a complete military victory. Just recently, I presented a video. I was being interviewed by Equinox TV on the insights where I talk about there can never be a victory, military victory in southern Cameroon, whether the military or the Ambazonians. None of them can win. I talk about it. None of them can win. It can never happen. Because the Ambazonian fighter cannot kill all the militaries. Because when you kill one military, government of Cameroon will recruit 20 from the children of the poor and the frustrated people. With the Ambazonia, it's already an ideology. And the way the military they are operating in southern Cameroon, they are killing many innocent people. And the relatives of those innocent people are joining Ambazonia out of revenge. And that is the whole issue. Because Ambazonia is already an ideology that will take many years to stop. It can stop steadily if the leaders of Ambazonia or the different groups of Ambazonia controlling the Ambazonia fighter will ask them to drop their guns and embrace peace. That is the only automatic way that can stop. But if there is anybody still holding on to it, it can never stop. That is what I talk about. That. It's also talk about time for reconciliation. That is a normal preaching that everybody have been preaching. Okay, it's talk about release political prisoner, those who are for peace and not for separation. Many Capo Daniel have totally separated from, stop and abandoned the notion or the opinion of separation. He is no longer for separation. He is for one Cameroon, two people. That is the federal state, the federal state system. And that is, those are us. Many that Capo Daniel is joining us. He's not creating something new. He's joining us, the federalists. One Cameroon, two people. And then he talk about release political prisoner. Those who, many if they go to prison and ask all Ambazonians who are in prison, if they will accept one Cameroon, two people, then they say yes, they should release them. But if they say no, they are still for separation, they should keep them in prison. That is what Capo Daniel is saying. But I'm saying that all those arrested because of the Anglophone crisis should be released with no condition attached to it. None of them committed any crime. What happened that there was an Anglophone crisis, marginalization, oppression and repression from the government. If these things were not there, there wouldn't have been any crisis in southern Cameroon. if they did not dissolve the federal system, there wouldn't have been any crisis in southern Cameroon. So they should free everybody. That he has presented his opinion to other Ambazonian groups, but regret that some groups that ideology is suicide in nature and selfish. That he has presented to nearly all Ambazonian groups, Ayabacho, Cristiano, Sako, and others. He has presented his own idea of surrendering, that they should embrace peace. But because some of them already have their own ideology, that they must fight until a last person standing, and then also out of selfishness. And many of them do not want to join. So I believe these are things that always happen, and this is what I'm talking about, that for Ambazonia to end, it needs all those who are controlling them to change their mentality positively. So we will keep on praying for Chris Ano, we'll keep on praying for Sako, we'll keep on praying for Ayabacho so that they can change their mentality positively. Because if these 3 persons change their mentality positively, because they have soldiers at ground zero, they will call them and say, okay, we want to embrace peace, and peace will come. So we are praying for them, that they should change. It's not that we want to join and because we want to join together as Southern Cameroonians, then stand up for our right, so that Cameroon will return to federal system, where Southern Cameroon will be governed and decide how they want to govern their land and what they will use their resources for. That is all. And all Southern Cameroon will come in, and will come in with force, and that territory will develop, and people will enjoy. And then he also talked about we should separate the fighting from the Anglophone struggle. I have talked about that already, that the Anglophone crisis is different from the Ambazonia crisis. The Anglophone crisis is a crisis caused by the United Nations, Britain, and France in 1960 and 1961. It continued. Amadou Ahidjo came and he inherited the atrocity of the United Nations, and they continue with the frustration and frustrated the people of Southern Cameroon, promoting and provoking them to the point where we are today. In 1972, he dissolved the federal system, and that was a serious slap on the face of the people of Southern Cameroon. And the President Paul Biya, after they were crying because of the slap Amadou Ahidjo gave them, in 1984, it came again and rubbed pepper on the wounds that Amadou Ahidjo created by changing the name from United Republic of Cameroon to the Republic of Cameroon that we have today. And then he also made mention that Ayafo Florence, the lady who was killed in a way that no other human being has been killed that way, was killed by Ambazonia fighters, paid by an individual who was not an Ambazonia leader or an Ambazonia because of maritime issue. And they treat that woman that way. But he accepted that that woman was killed by the Ambazonia, but paid by an individual for maritime purposes. Many the Anglophone crisis, many Southern Cameroonians have settled their score problems because of the Anglophone crisis. And that is evil. If you are a Southern Cameroonian and you have taken advantage to kill any Southern Cameroonian for personal reason, then the nature, the God, and the nature in Southern Cameroon will not allow you live in peace. That we have gone past the peak of fighting. Yes, this one is something I've been talking about. That fighting ended in 2017. After that, when Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonia came in to prove to the government that they cannot maltreat the people of Southern Cameroon and go scot-free. They were supposed to end it there. And the government will respect them forever. But continue to fight is where problem came. And government came in to set the people of Southern Cameroon against Ambazonia, and confusion started, and problem we are where we are today. where we are counting 10,000 people brutally killed, and many of them killed by Ambazonian fighters, calling them black leg, set by the government. The time for fighting passing. So if you are still holding guns, you are addicted. You are not fighting by the very cause, the very problem we were fighting. We came out in 2016 and 2017 fighting for. So that is what I'm pleading with you, that wherever you are, drop your gun. We have a better way to solve this particular problem. He also made mention that we should end this war of shame. It is a disgrace. The kind of fight that is going on inside the Cameroon is a disgrace. That President Paul Biya, wherever he is moving, he should be hiding his face, covering his face, because it is a shame. And shame to all his leaders, shame to all the Ambazonian leaders for what they have done in southern Cameroon. Because there is no place they can stand without people pointing their fingers against them. Look at these wicked people who decided to punish their own people and living their lives.
Okay. Let us focus on the facts. Like Dr. Nick have said,
no choice, no chances or hope for Ambazonia. He said that, Capo Daniel said that were no chances or hope for Ambazonia independence. Again, that there is no chance, no hope for Ambazonia independence again, because there is no international recognition. No country has recognized Ambazonia. And then coming down, he talked about international community lost interest in Ambazonia struggle. Yes, I presented a video telling Ambazonia that they should ask why international community lost interest in the struggle. They should ask themselves why. Why have they lost interest in the struggle? Because of the way the Ambazonia attempt to maltreat the people of southern Cameroon. And then the government gathered all those maltreatment as evidence and presented to the international community. And the international community turned against them. So that is the main reason, because when they look at how Ayafo Florence was brutally killed, that video circulated, killed by Ambazonia fighters. When they look at how the head of a lady in Buya was cut off, and then the Ambazonia fighter shouted, "Way play." When they saw how people, villages burned, and the kind of maltreatment, the government gathered all those things and sent them. And when they were hearing videos, audios and videos from Ambazonia leaders giving order, cut their fingers, chop them, do this, burn their property, all those things they gathered and presented to the international community. They said, no, you cannot support these people. And all of them lost interest in the struggle. So it is a call and a lesson for all of you. I believe many of you do not even want to listen to what Capo Daniel talked about, but I took it time to explain that there was something there meaningful, though he might be still working out for his own self-interest. But if any self-interest that can bring peace, I am for it. That the government, it should not. So my conclusion is that the government of Cameroon should not wait for all Ambazonia groups to surrender before negotiation. If one surrender, he should be working with that one, so that it will encourage the other ones to come in. That is my message I'm sending to the government, that they should not be discouraged, but they should struggle by all possible means to start working with those who are willing, those for federation who are always ready to talk with the government, and some Ambazonia who have surrendered already. There are many of them. Call them together. We sit and talk. If there is a way that the government can put pride away, then call even those who have not even surrendered. Because Ayabacho was willing to travel to Canada, Chris Anu was willing to travel to Canada, then they should gather and talk. Let them hear their own point why they are still holding on separation. Because we have to educate. Many issue is that many people who are leading many of this struggle are science students who never did study history. And they know little about a Cameroon history. That is why when you post video and say Cameroon was one, many people are arguing that Cameroon was not one. Cameroon was one under the Germans. It was just given to Britain and France as a mandated territory by the League of Nations. And when the League of Nations collapsed in 1945, the United Nations came in and took that territory as a United Nations trust territory. And it was under the United Nations, and under the United Nations, owned by the United Nations, but under the caretaker of Britain and France, preparing them for independence. And then with, if not of the selfishness of the British, the day French Cameroon was gaining independence, British Cameroon was supposed to come and join them because they were one territory. It's just that you have given your piece of land to somebody, to two persons to harvest. And when you want to collect that land, one person will give and one person refuses to give. You have to take all. This is what the United Nations was supposed to do, and that is what up to today until tomorrow, I keep on blaming the United Nations for the trouble we are facing in Southern Cameroon. Thank you very much. Drop your comment as we look.